Good evening, everyone. This is Eugene from ET Reviews. Apologies for the shaky phone camera quality, but tonight I wanted to show you how I switched out the bearings from the mini Maelstrom. Since I already have it done, I'm just going to walk you guys through the steps, and if you're feeling adventurous and want to do something about the bearing in your Maelstrom, feel free to follow along. A few things that you need. I used a rubber mallet, some Loctite that I found in the garage, a toothpick, and 2 sockets. You see 3 here, but I will explain why very, very shortly. As you can see, I have the 1-drop bearing in the mini Maelstrom. I will review this change along with the spinner itself very soon. Okay, first off, the larger socket. Now this is the 1/2-inch socket. Basically, this is used to elevate the spinner, but also to have this bearing drop in after you knock it out. There are 2 more sockets here, and I'm showing you a variety of sizes that I think will work. Okay, this is the 11/32 size. I believe you can go through the 12/32 size and still be okay. But I think the very minimum should be a 1/4 inch, or in this case, 8/32, whichever you prefer. Okay, so after you remove the buttons, you want to place your spinner on top of the socket. Now, if you're scared of scratching your spinner, by all means line the outside of the socket with some tissue paper or whatever to get some grip on there too as well. I didn't even think about it until after I did it, and it didn't really affect the spinner that much. Plus the button's covered up anyway. So basically you line it up over the larger socket such that when you knock the bearing out, it'll just drop right in, so you won't damage the bearing, and well, you can technically remove it that way. So you can see the bearing that came with the mini Maelstrom, and you can see that technically it is a little bit different than the standard 10-ball R188. The outside cage, or race I guess, is a little thinner on the Flyaway Toys version, and that's why you need to be a little bit more precise with your socket choice for knocking it out. So as you can see, I'm going to show you guys, I guess. If I put it on the 1/4 inch socket, you can see that it is just a little bit underneath its appropriate size, but it should work. And if I do it over the 11/32, it fits a little bit better. Either way, as long as the majority of the bearing is sitting on the socket, you should be fine. So what I did was that I set the socket above the bearing, and I gave it a good few taps like that. You want to be careful. You don't want to do it in one swift motion. I would scale up the strength of your knocks just in case. The other thing that you might want to be careful with is that the fact that this spinner, I guess the mini Maelstrom, is a radial design, so it supports the center much better. If you're thinking about doing this on the Falcon, be careful, because it's only a 2-arm spinner, in which case you might end up bending your spinner if you misalign or you slip. So please take that into consideration. After you knock it out, give it a few taps on there, it actually comes out quite easily. So then you put in a drop of your Loctite. You can see it's already open since I already did it. And I used a toothpick to kind of go around the outside of the bearing. Well, the bearing hole itself, I guess. I didn't use a Q-tip because the Q-tip is fibrous, and I didn't really want the fiber to get caught up in the spinner, the bearing itself. After that, well, my bearing just slid right in. However, I read a few people's experiences on Reddit, and they said that they had some trouble getting the bearing in with some level of difficulty. So keep that in mind, but mine just slid right in, and it ended up being a very easy process toward the end, actually. I was just scared in the beginning. And as you can see, it's pretty flush. It doesn't really affect the spinner stability at all. And I will be reviewing the spinner overall with and without the change very, very soon. I guess that's really it. Feel free to ask me any questions. I will be reviewing the spinner very soon. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and happy spinning!